Yo, welcome back to Wolf Bitcoin. We're here with another live Bitcoin and crypto market analysis session. So we'll dig into some charts again today, and let's see, let's see if anything's changed in the last 24 hours or so of in terms of Bitcoin here at these levels. We can also look at some of the alts. They've been pumping a little bit. So we've got some stuff to cover in terms of the alts. So we'll take a look at all of that today. As always, guys, this is not a financial advice show. This is not a source for what you should be buying, selling, or investing in. This is just an educational, technical analysis, uh, framed market analysis, right? So we're just looking at some charts. We're looking at the crypto market. We're looking at Bitcoin all through the lens of just chart analysis, not for the sake of shilling you anything, just simply for the sake of trying to better understand what is currently happening in these markets. So shout out to Goat. I see Goat with the repost already. As you guys are coming in, if you enjoy this type of content, if you want to support us and what we're doing, very simple ask is give the stream, give the post a like. If you are feeling a little generous, maybe a comment and a repost, but at least just give us a like. Just help us out. Give it a like. If you would be so kind to repost, we appreciate that. And if you want to come hang with us, hang either in the comments or in the chat, we'd love to have you. Shout out to Public for sponsoring the show and a lot of the other content as well. But shout out to Public for the sponsorship. Public is an investing platform. It's a TradFi brokerage, if I have to put it in a bucket. But they're pretty cutting edge in a lot of ways. I mean, there is some there's some crypto you can trade on there, but mainly it's the AI suite of tools that they're incorporating that you can go in there and build a strategy using AI agents to trade this strategy for you without your direct oversight needed, right? You can just kind of manage some of these strategies, manage these agentic tools. But go check them out, public.com/wolf. If you're looking for a change, if it's time for something new, if your brokerage, if who you're currently doing business with isn't keeping up with the times and you're looking for someone that is, go check out public.com/wolf. Look, with that, ladies and gentlemen, I guess let's move on to these charts. Let me see. I got my drink ready. Perfect. Got my charts ready. And got the chat queued up, ready to go. Looks like we're good on X. We're good on YouTube as well. All right. Let's jump into this here. Let me switch accounts. Perfect. Perfect. All right, cool. Well, let's jump into this. We're looking at Bitcoin right now. This is Bitcoin on the weekly time frame, as you can see up here on TradingView. I'm on the 1 week time frame, and interesting level that we're currently kind of bouncing off of here. Initially rejecting. I don't want to say that this is for sure the rejection that sends us lower, but it's got the potential. Mainly, I'm watching this area for two things. If you look at the volume profile, you can see that this is basically the point of control of this upper range for sure. This is where all of that volume is concentrated here on this big node. There's some other areas as well, not as big as this one. And this one down here, I would say, is outside of the scope of the area that we're talking about. We're concentrating on this area up here. This is where the highest concentration of volume is, mainly because of this area back here from 2024. So in 2024, when we went sideways from effectively March through November, right? It was we broke out in November, but let's say all of March through all of October, chop sideways. The point of control of this range, if you take a fixed range volume profile in here, that point of control is right here, right at about 67,000, 66,9, 67,000. Then if you take the bottom of this breakout move here, so essentially the low here that was established in November, which was that was the November low. So the low of November of 2024 here before the big impulsive break, if you take that and you put a horizontal ray on it, that's also around the same level right here. That level is actually, to be precise, 66,835. So 66,8, 66,9. Let's just call it 67K. 67K is a big horizontal area to be watching, which is roughly where we rejected from. And again, like initial rejection is fine for now. I want to see if Bitcoin can muster the strength here to give one more push. I am watching this 3-day range on BTC. So as you can see here, this candle from back at the beginning of this month. So basically the first 3 days of the month here, we still have not gone outside of that candle's range. To the downside, we haven't set a new low, and to the upside, we have not breached above that. So I've got that three-day range high is what I'm kind of marking that as. That's right there. We got close, man. We got really close. Almost touched it, but didn't break above it. So I'm still watching that level for a potential sweep. And that also, a sweep of that level also would move you into this daily fair value gap right here. Right? Very clean area here. So we are watching this area here as well. So maybe what we need is this to bounce up, dip into that a little bit. Maybe it goes up near 68. I'd like at least 67.5. It's kind of what I'm looking for. I'm looking for 67.5. If it wants to go 68, 68.5, and then we get a rejection, which again doesn't mean it has to come all the way to the lows, but this would be a nice healthy correction. And if there's going to be continuation after a pullback like that, we'll see if we can get going again. And this doesn't have to pull back. I don't have a level that I'm set on here per se, but just a pullback, some sort of pullback after something like that. Nice big move off of the lows into this area. It needs to cool off some, right? Maybe around there. And then you get the follow-up. Then you get the push higher. So let's see if maybe something like that makes a little bit of sense here for BTC. But overall, I mean, Bitcoin mostly sideways. Even though it's moved lower, it's moved higher. We're close to where we opened the quarter. Actually, we're not that far off from that quarterly open. So this quarter we opened it at 68,284. We're at 65.7, so we're not far off from the quarterly open, which means we've mainly gone sideways this quarter, and there's 14 days remaining on the quarter, and we've mainly gone sideways. Yes, we've gone up some. Yes, we've gone down some, but mostly it's been flat. Mostly we are roughly where we started. On a monthly basis, we did sweep that February low. We've talked about this, right? Which was also last quarter's low. And we're a little bit below. I would like to see, and even this lines up. So that like 60, what do we say this level was? This like 66.8 to 67K. Notice that's also where you had these closes, those candle body closes right there, right? You have those candle body closes right on that line as well. If in the next 14 days, the time that remains on the month, if we can close above that, I think things can get interesting. I know I've been saying that, but I think things can get interesting if we can manage to close above 67K. I mean, you basically have like a double bottom looking structure here, almost equal sized wicks to the downside as well. I mean, I'd be wondering if it couldn't push up off of that, right? So let's see. It's still early. It's too early to call it. 14 days, a lot can happen in 14 days, man. 14 days is a long time in these markets. But in a more zoomed in time frame here, we're on the 1 hour. Currently, I'm looking to see if Bitcoin maybe wants to come take these previous day lows here. And maybe that's what sets it up for the move higher. You do have a little bit of a gap here below as well. You can see that clearly on a 4 hour. Very nice here. So maybe it needs to dip down in here. A move for BTC similar to like maybe something like this that comes down, takes previous day low here, right? Fills some of this inefficiency here because of that gap, and then works its way up, sweeps that 3-day range high, moves into that fair value area above, and then from there, we can kind of assess if it needs to come do a larger, longer cool off, or if it's going to keep pushing. Last month low up here. Checking these comments. So far, we're good. Landy with the fire emojis. Mr. Spread is tagging in some stuff. What are you tagging in? This is so funny with Markets and Mayhem. I'm reading your comments right now with Mr. Spread. So funny. All right, let's get back to these charts here. So this is kind of what I'm looking for. If there's going to be another leg up, correct some of this, keep pushing. There was an opportunity before this push happened here. If Monday, instead of Monday, Tuesday, when was this? Yeah, Monday. Instead of Monday pushing higher, if Monday had pulled back, I would have been looking for a sweep of this Sunday low before higher, and it didn't do that. So now I don't know that I want it to come below that Sunday low just yet before it puts in that next leg up. I think just come here, sweep that previous day low, dip into this inefficiency, and then send it. And then I'm more interested in a larger correction after that. Because at that point, oh, didn't grab it. At that point, like let's say you made a move up here to 69. Yeah, I mean, that would give you about like if we're trying to line up that golden pocket area, like here, this fib golden pocket with like a 50% of last week, also with this volume and stuff, then that does mean that we probably need to make a larger move up here to almost 70K actually before you get a deep pullback. Otherwise, like if this is in right now, if that was the top, then you could get here 382, get a bounce above that without breaching. 0.5 is down here. We know that. Yeah, I guess we'll have to wait and see. Let's invert this really quickly. This was an inverted chart. Yeah, I mean, ideally you wouldn't want it, right? Like you wouldn't want this. If this is going to try and flip this range to go again, although that does look like a deviation, a nice clean deviation right now. Boom. Yeah, I guess in that case, you wouldn't really want to see this thing probably come much past that 50% mark. So even if this came up here into this low volume area, which is kind of where we're looking, you'd want to see it come back. Interesting how it looks inverted though, huh? That really was just a clean deviation above that high. This is now correcting here. You almost have something like this going on. Wonder what that looks like. Let's uninvert that. I mean, this is just a quick and dirty channel. I didn't really spend too much time on it. I'm tempted to put that there, though. I almost feel like it makes more sense here as opposed to here. But I can see both. Interesting. That's an interesting channel. I'm gonna wait though. I'd rather wait and see the lower time frame play out before I speculate on that bigger channel. But we would be moving into kind of like the midline here of that channel, that larger channel. Here you can definitely put a channel on this. Easy money. Definitely can do that. Let's see what that would look like. Actually, that original channel that we had on here should still be good. Yeah. So this was that original channel. So yeah, you'd be getting a bounce off of the median of the channel here. This is pretty in line. You're flipping the midsection. Even if this dips down a little bit, you're kind of expecting it to mostly just kind of hold the upper half of the channel. And then you would want to see a move higher. If it's here, though, I mean, it may not go much higher than the top of the channel for now. So maybe, yeah, maybe 67.5 to 69 is probably the most you would see, maybe even 68.5. Something like that on BTC. Looks like it's about to dump inverted. Exactly. I agree. It looked like it just had a deviation to the top side, like a fake out, and then it's going to come lower is exactly what I'm seeing. And we can zoom out and see like how up to what time frame does that still look that way, or we can just look at stablecoin dominance, which is essentially inverted. Because although they have different high time frame structure, on the low time frames like this, stablecoin is essentially an upside down Bitcoin chart in a lot of ways. So same thing, right? You had your deviation above. Looks like it wants to come lower. Even something as simple as this, like watching that as like a diagonal trend, or when the move extends enough this way. I mean, ultimately, we're looking here on stablecoin dominance. We talked about last month's high. We looked at previous week low, which is also the 5-day range low right here. This area to me makes a lot of sense for stablecoin dominance to ultimately move to. And if it's coming here, then I suspect BTC needs to come up here into the 70s. BTC would need to be looking up here like 72 almost. 72, 74, if that were to happen. So if this, if stablecoin dominance is doing something like this, I don't know, like let's just say, let's clean that up a little bit. Like let's say it sweeps there, then it gets a bounce to there, and then let's see from there, it gets a nice big move towards over here somewhere. Like something like this starts to make sense to me, that it comes down, meets this diagonal here, and then we'll see. We'll see at that point if it can, even if it fakes out below it, Can it try and, you know, bust a move back that way? Or does it keep going down? This area here on stablecoin dominance, I know I've talked to you guys about it, but it's a massive area, and we have not really come down to sit on it yet. And if I remove all this noise, right, like this does look, I wonder if this is, does it have, yep, look at that. You've got some bearish divergence there on that. That's what I was afraid of, is that, let's delete this. Let's hide that for now, delete that. Here, let me hide all this too. Check this out on stablecoin dominance. Just as Bitcoin has bullish divergence here, wick to wick, you made higher highs. Your RSI top to top made lower highs. Your volume is also decreasing volume in this entire move. So here, even though this entire move has been going higher and higher and then higher, you've been going, you know, lower and lower and lower on volume in this move. And your RSI is also rolling over here. And then here on a weekly time frame, yeah, you did get higher close. You got higher high and a higher close. On the monthly, however, no, let go. On the monthly, we still have 14 days remaining. And I think the risk is that on a monthly basis, similar to BTC, right? We said 67 is the level for BTC. Let's watch them. Let me pull that one up so you guys can see it. So BTC on the monthly. $67 is this low right here, the closes from back February and March right here, right? Close and then the open of the subsequent month. That 67K there is the 11.4% or something like this on this combination chart. So same thing. If this thing swept that high, but then closes below this, either at the same level or below that, I mean, that's going to look like just a huge fake out. Like this thing needs to then be doing something like this, right? That'll be very, very interesting if we get that monthly, which is why I'm waiting to really get, you know, a little more clear on what my take is until the end of the month. I think the end of the month is going to tell us a lot more information. Yo, what's up, Willem? Dude, currently, I'm still thinking we go higher. I'm not seeing anything that's got me like super, super concerned just yet. To me, between seeing stables look like they just faked out to the upside and potentially are closing back, you know, within this range, and then this green area then just becomes really interesting to me. This green area down here, which would mean BTC is going to run that 82, 83K high that was put in. More than likely would mean BTC is going to run that. So yeah, that'll be interesting. What we can do for now too is just watch this channel. Watch this larger channel here on stablecoin dominance, just like we will on BTC. And just say, okay, if it doesn't bounce here on the midline of this channel, then the chances of it coming to the bottom of the channel increase. Same thing with BTC. If you put it on the weekly, right? And if you're just looking at it through a very simple lens, let's get rid of that. You could do the same thing on BTC, and you could simply say, okay, from here to here to here. That's like my effective range. And it's approaching the middle of that channel as well. Bitcoin is approaching the middle of that channel right here. Let me clean that up some. Hold on, fellas. So if we look at Bitcoin through this lens here, I mean, look, the middle of the channel is right there in that box we drew. It's coming right into that. That's going to be a key area. It's going to be a very, very key area right here. So I want to see, I'm not really looking to short this until we see that next push up into that level or above that level. And then maybe I'll look for a short. And really, it's more of a short hedge than anything, because I am still long from down here at about 61. And I'm happy to continue holding that, even if this cools off a little bit, pulls back some here off of a rejection here. I'm perfectly okay with that. This is still all in line with this idea. Where is it? Where'd it go? Nope. Where'd it go? This one? There we go. There it is. Yeah, this big W pop comes all the way down here, maybe at some point, right? But it could need one more push still. It could mean that it needs one more push. This move up here on the W might not be done. It might be that this needs to wait till out there, and then this move needs the rest of the week, come up here, fail in this zone that we're talking about, and then come down and give that big correction. Then come back down, give that huge correction, and then this kicks off that move higher into the 70s and higher. This is still like my primary case right now that I'm watching for Bitcoin and for everything else. Everything else is going to follow the same way. XRP, big pump. It's already pulling back, right? Solana, nice W. It's going to probably pull back at some point, just like we're saying about BTC. Everything. SWI, even if it pushes up higher, I think it pulls back some. I think they all do. So far, this to me still just on track for this big pattern here to play out. Big W, pull back roughly to the neckline, and then sends. What do I think happens at FOMC tomorrow? It's hard to know. I mean, more than likely, they don't change anything. More than likely, it's like nothing. It's a nothing burger. Wonder if we bought the rumor and are going to sell. I mean, I think if we're going to sell it, I would almost want it in that case. All right, let's think of it this way. In that case, I would almost want the FOMC tomorrow to be a pump event where, I mean, tell me if this makes sense. Tell me if this makes sense. Tell me if this would make sense. Because a lot of times Bitcoin will come down and it'll correct like FOMC pumps or, like CPI pumps or anything like that. It'll come down and it'll grab them. So I wonder if instead, what if it does something like this? Tonight, it kind of comes, cleans up some lows. Either it pumps into FOMC and FOMC is the high, and then we get the rejection down, right? Then we correct. And that's the top of that W move. Like FOMC puts in this W move top. And then we have that longer multi-day correction, right? Into the weekend or something. What if it's that? Or FOMC is actually like this, or this chops around a little bit more down here. FOMC is what actually pumps it into that resistance, and then it sells off. And on the sell off, you basically take back all of the FOMC pump gains, basically. I think either of those is fair, but I'm still primarily looking for another leg higher from here. I'm still primarily looking for another leg higher. Whatever the heck needs to happen to justify that, like whatever the narrative needs to be to explain why we get that next leg up, I don't really care. But I'm still on the side of thinking there's another move higher. before we see a correction, before we see a move lower. And then the move lower, I do suspect that move lower is going to take us back here into the lower 60s. It'll at least come mid to lower 60s, in my opinion, after this next leg is up. Goat wants to look at ICP. Let's pull it up, dude. All right, let's start on the quarterly. You know, I like to start zoomed out. All right, let me just hit some key levels here real quick, just so I have some reference. Previous quarter high, previous quarter low. Let's look at the 6 month while we're here. Nah, nothing super interesting to me. Same with the 12. Nothing super interesting. 2 month, just in case. 2 month did sweep the previous 2 month high. So it makes sense that maybe we're going to see something to the downside here. Let's go back to the monthly. Let's clean this up. Yeah, so we're already took last month low, right? So that level's already been taken. Let's grab last month high. Let's go to the weekly. Clean some of this stuff up here real quick, just because it bugs me. My OCDs just don't let me. All right. So look, you took last month's lows. You also took the bottom of this, last month candle, that entire range, without anything to the upside, which is pretty clean. Here, let's get the weekly levels put on there. Yeah, if I had to bet on this, like if I had to make just a straight gamble on it, I'd say I'm kind of looking for this to make one more move higher here. Oh, it already adjusted. But like maybe one move higher here. Run the top of this candle here. This like daily, because we're in this daily range, right? Like you guys can see that. Right, we're in this daily range from the candle of what, June 5th, the June 5th daily candle. We're basically inside of that, just internal structure. So I'd like to see one more move higher to sweep that high. And then once that's taken, then I think we see a move lower that takes out monthly range, takes out quarterly range. And then after a move like that, I will get interested in seeing if we go the other way. But I think there needs to be a move down here first, based on like what I'm seeing and how I'm seeing these wicks to the upside here on that. So maybe something like that, where it's like it needs to come up here above 276, take that daily range high, and then it can come all the way through across the range, and then see if it can't take out that last quarter low for ICP. Maybe something like that. I don't know what you think about that, Goat. Yo, Darren, what's going on, man? How you doing? You're watching 65.2 SFP, then we go 69K-ish. If 65.2 doesn't hold either 64.5 or mid to low 63. 65.2, let's go look at that 65.2. 65.2. Yeah, I mean that would be kind of what I'm talking about here when I say sweep previous day low, quick sweep, then send it higher, ultimately looking for a move just in here, 67.5 to, I mean, it could go as high as like 70.5, a little bit above that, but I don't think it will. I think it's more likely that it's somewhere between 67.5 to like maybe 69. Somewhere in here, grab a little bit of whatever's up there, and then I think there's a larger correction after that. But I don't think it takes these lows out. So I think there's just another correction, and then I think we head higher. I think that correction, after we hit these targets, I think that correction could revisit down here in the 64s again, 64, maybe even 63s. Doesn't have to, but I think it could. But ultimately, yeah, I'm still in this. I'm still thinking this is roughly what's kind of playing out here. Something like that. Big correction down here to kind of the neckline of this W, and then the potential to continue higher should show up after that, especially if we close the month above 67. If we close the month above, I'd prefer it to be closer to 68, but above 67, if we close the month above that, I think things could push a little bit longer to the upside. 65.2 is value area low. Okay. From the fixed range. Gotcha. Yeah, dude, I caught one of your streams. I didn't watch it all, but I watched a good chunk of the beginning. And good stuff, dude. I like what you're doing, man. Y'all make sure, if y'all are in here in the chat, go check out Darren. DDT Darren Does Things. He's doing some cool stuff. Streams on YouTube. Everyone bought. So Electric Cowboy says everyone bought the Iran war ending news. That's why we pumped. Nobody knows what to expect from FOMC other than the rates remain unchanged. Yeah. True. But even in that, right? Like there is a continual speculation in regards to economic events, and FOMC is part of that. So even though the most likely outcome is that everything remains unchanged, there are people speculating and pricing in what happens if there's a cut, what happens if there's a hike, right? Enrique says we dumped to new lows. Enrique just wants to send this thing to zero, man. Oh, bad. You're an overly technical trader. What confuse people? Yeah. No, it's all good, man. I think that's how people learn is it's like when you're learning a new language. Initially, if you get thrown into a room of people speaking that new language, it's sensory overload to the max. You don't know who to look at, what to listen to. You're just total overload. But you start slowly picking up on things. You're like, I noticed that last time they said XYZ, they did this or they reacted that way. You start to pick up on stuff, right? So TA is kind of like that. TA is very much like that. I find myself moving with every year. I find myself moving more towards simplicity instead of complexity. I'm continually trying to remove things that are either unnecessary or just redundant. Like there's too many redundancies when it comes to indicators because they're all looking at the same stuff, right? Most indicators are looking at price, volume, right? It's like, what's the point of having 3 different indicators that are all based on the same thing? Like if you have 3 volume based indicators, what's the point? They're all telling you the same thing. You call it confluence if you have those 3 in alignment, but it's really just redundancy, right? They're all telling you the same thing. So I end up moving, and maybe it's also part of getting older, but like I move more towards just simplicity. Like I just give me something simple. Where I can get too complicated, and I know this about myself, is I don't like to take like one path or one outcome as like, this is it. This is where I'm planting my flag. I'm all in on this idea and I'm considering nothing else. I don't like to do that. Even for the same up move, right? Like you guys just saw me today do it, but even for the same move up, I'll have like 2 or 3 different ways that it could make that move up because I just want to be open. I want my mind to not get glued to the need for it to happen one particular way. It's like, I don't care how it happens. There's a multitude of ways that can happen. I may find 10 ways to explain how price moves up here, and it can happen. It could still happen in some way other, outside of those 10 still, right? So it's like, I don't get too stuck on that. But I do like to say, okay, like here's how I can go up. Here's like maybe 2 or 3 different ways of what would lead to price higher, and here's like maybe 2 or 3 different things that could lead to price lower. All based on the chart, all based on just understanding where there's inefficiencies on the chart, where there's support, resistance, where there's supply and demand, and that's where I can overcomplicate things a little bit. Not so much in like the indicator department. Sometimes, like even right now is a good example. This feels very noisy to me right now. I've got too much going on in the chart, so I end up getting to a place where I'm just like, yeah, I'm removing everything. Like there's too much. There's just too much going on, and I really just want to keep things simple. Like I want to understand where price is at. I want to have some volume based stuff that's kind of telling me that, where I can look for structure, and I want to have just key levels, weekly, monthly, quarterly levels, stuff like that. And then the rest is just we're looking at price action just to tell us if it's going to go or not. Empty order flow. I'm going to mix that with TBD or market maker method. Yeah, that's you got some serious madness going on there, dude. Serious madness. Enrique looks at nothing. He just looks at candles. Enrique, you're just, dude, not everyone's as goated as you, man. Not everyone is as goated as you. Hey, Fuds, man. That is a dude, Fuds. Fuds, that is epic, dude. That is an epic trade. That is epic. Congrats, dude. Congrats. Fuds went on a 5-day backpacking trip in the mountains, and he set a Bitcoin long at 61,634. And he took this, when did he take this? Tuesday? I guess it was like Tuesday or Wednesday at 61. Went on a 5-day backpacking trip in the mountains. Comes back, closes it at 67,036. This guy's a gangster, man. Good stuff, dude. Good stuff. That's funny. The memes are funny. Dude, congrats on that, Fuds, man. That's an epic trade. And you caught the meat of the move. You caught most of it. You're here at 61.3 something. So you basically caught these lows that we were talking about. So good job on executing there, because we were looking for that pullback. You took it. And, you didn't catch the absolute top, but getting out here at 60, what'd you say, at 67? No, what did you get out at? Yeah, 67, dude. I mean, you basically caught the whole thing. Everything that mattered here in this move, you pretty much caught it. That is epic. Congrats, dude. Big congrats. Let's look at SpaceX really quick. Hey, I think this is going to gap up again, hopefully, on the next daily open. Been trading SpaceX. I'm not holding it. I'm just trading in and out. I bought down here at 160.6 Friday. Opened up this week beautifully. I sold up here at 209. Sorry, 209. Where is that? 209. So I sold here at 209 and change, somewhere around there. And then I just bought a little bit more here on this red candle down here on the sweep of this range. So we'll see. I mean, if we get really on SpaceX for something like this, just move it back up here. Maybe if they wants to go and put in a new high, that's fine by me. But if it comes lower, I'll add again. I was tempted to wait for it to come and sweep down here. But right now, look, it's basically didn't quite fill the entire gap. I'm okay with that. It's close enough. This made sense for me to add again, but yeah, just trading old SpaceX a little bit here. While we're sitting on our Bitcoin long, waiting to take some short exposure. Let's see here. ADHD and OCD life. Dude, no lie, man. No lie. I hear you, dude. I just got a lot of aura. Oh, yeah? Mr. Aura, you look at flags. BTC always flags. Okay. Yeah. It's flagging right now, isn't it? So are you long? Are you thinking this goes higher? This right here flags, and then we break out higher? What would that be if you did a measured move of this, by the way? So it's like, is this how you do this? Grab the flag, the pole of the flag, and then you say, okay, if it goes here, dang, that'd be a heck of a move. But that's right in that area we were talking about, right? That's right in that rectangle area. Oh yeah, look, boom. It's right in line with this. Nice little move up here. If you did a measured move, there you go. There you go, Enrique. That works out. Spread and Landy, you guys are hilarious. Let me check DMs here. Make sure I'm not missing any comments. Let's see here. What are you guys talking about? Bitcoin almost at the lower third. Oh no, that's crude oil. This is crude oil. You guys are looking at crude oil. Yeah, I think crude is ready possibly for a bounce, man, if it goes a little bit lower. You guys want to look at crude real quick? Assuming you guys might be following oil. I got the futures chart, but it'll do same thing. So for oil, we're now at the bottom of this range here, which was what, a weekly range? Yeah. So you had a weekly range here based on this candle, swept the high, came down to the bottom of the range. So as far as I'm concerned, this weekly range is now handled. What I want to see is now this monthly range. So if you take the high from back here, boom. So this was March monthly candle. Have not breached above, currently heading lower. If oil comes down, takes this low, then I'm looking for oil to make a move all the way back across the range to the top again. This is just a technical trade. I don't know what the news or what the environment would be for something like this to happen, but just as a technical trader, if this comes down, sweeps the bottom of this monthly range, I would then be looking for the opportunity to position back across the range and potentially even higher than the top of the range. Something like that. But that level to break is like 69 and change, I think. 69.20 to the downside. I want to see a sweep of 69.20. And then we can look for oil to attempt at heading the other way. Something like this would be quite interesting. You heard it here first, ladies and gentlemen, on Wolf Bitcoin. You heard it here first. Nice sweep. Send it. Absolute send mission after that. Going into, that's interesting up here. Going into October of this year. So oil pumping, could oil pumping be what gives us some pressure to the downside for BTC? Now, okay, now we're on to something. Oil needs to come down and sweep this monthly range. What if Bitcoin keeps going higher, risk on keeps going higher until oil sweeps this monthly range low, and then oil starts to turn around and head higher while everything corrects into October for the cycle low, the quote unquote 4-year cycle low. So what if this needs to keep coming down through maybe through next month, through July, and then we spend some time going the other direction? This would also allow some time for VIX volatility to kind of keep coming down before it spikes up. You know, this VIX keeps coming down as things push a little bit higher. Even the stock market could keep pushing a little bit higher. VIX below 15 and change, we probably need to be taking profits on some stuff. and then we see a big reversion here, volatility spike, which ultimately puts in some kind of bottom. If you look at S&P, you're basically up here double topping. NQ, same thing. You're kind of double topping. But if this thing keeps rolling over, this could push a little bit more. If this thing starts spiking up, man, then that's going to start looking rough with those double tops up there. Dollar's still pretty much flat. Dollar hasn't broken out to the upside or the downside. It's just kind of consolidating here. So I wonder if oil could be a potential trigger from that sense. Darren doubts we go higher today. London session put in a lower high relative to PD high. Okay. S&P pump. Yeah. Got already 2 levels up on the 15. All right. Every time I say 15, I have to be careful because here at my house, we say 15 with a G, 15. Because one of my kiddos, when he was little, used to always say that 13, 14, 15. So when we say those words, we always say it with a ting. 14, 15. Yeah. Also 1 hour M. So unless we get a 15-minute reset to go higher. All right, let's get the reset, dude. Let's get the reset. Darren, I don't care how it happens. We just need another leg higher, man. Make it happen. I don't care what you got to draw on that chart, man. What kind of arrows and squigglies and scribbles. You just make sure we put in one more leg higher. One more leg higher. We need it. Spiders, what's up, man? Strong possibility and lines up with what you've been saying. Cool, man. That's good to know. Clean and probable, 25-30% of the matrix. Spiders is like a quant, man. This guy, I'm just not smart enough, man, to do all the stuff that you guys do. I'm just a chart guy, dude. I just draw squiggles on the chart, man. That's all I can do. I can't run models like you human computers, you cyborgs out there, dude. I leave that task in your hands, in your capable hands. So for me, I'll stick to what I do best, man, and that's just drawing squiggles. Just draw some arrows, draw some lines, man. That's what I do. Yo, but with that, guys, again, shout out to Public for helping us put on this show here, this TA session. So go check them out, public.com/wolf. And shout out to Wolf Bitcoin, Cade, and crew for letting me jump on here and do this for the brand. I definitely enjoy it. Shout out to you guys that are hanging with us, that are here in the comments, that hang out, the regulars. You guys jump on, you drop comments, you engage, you ask questions. You guys make these things enjoyable. Believe it or not, you guys make these things enjoyable. So appreciate you guys. And look, I think we're going to call it here. We're going to call it. We've covered a lot. We've covered what we're kind of looking for here going into the end of the US session. So now we just got to do, what we need to do, I think, a lot more often, a lot more frequently, which is just let time do its thing. Let time work. We know what we want. We know what we're looking for. Now it's like hands off. Let time do its thing. Let the chart and the market do its thing. And when it's ready, when it's closer, we execute. For now, chilling, going into the end of US and into the gap before Asia. So I'll jump back on later tonight with you guys after 7 Eastern. So like 7 or 8, somewhere in there. I'll jump back on with you guys. Maybe even a little bit later. I kind of want to test the later evening, like maybe like, I don't know. 9-10 p.m. I don't know if the problem is I don't know if there's a crowd for this type of content at those hours versus like people just want to be on spaces chilling. It's like lower ask in terms of like the attention I'm asking for at that time, but who knows? I'm open to trying it. I don't mind trying it out the later hours, seeing if there's people that want to jump onto this type of stuff at that time. But yeah, with that, guys, appreciate y'all. We're gonna cut this off here in terms of the content that we covered today. I think that was sufficient. That way we don't have info overload. But let's see what happens. Let's see what happens in the overnight session. Again, I'm still on team one more leg higher. So let's see what happens as we move into the rest of the week here, especially with FOMC. Let's see how that all shapes up, how it plays out. So appreciate you guys. We'll see y'all on the next one. Peace.